So, top 15 versus bottom 15, which actually became 20 and 22 on the bottom because of one or two caveats that I just really wanted to mention. So, Baba, first one, gap out of range. I don't think it had news. No, so I just checked and there's no major news or anything. So, breakout day one, good volume, but nothing outstanding. Like, we were overshadowed by a couple of, like, I'm guessing earnings news or something like that. Then not even half IC gapped out, failed, and now we have a large gap up, which is pretty dang nice. We're on pretty similar volume to the initial gap out day, but seemingly more solid, more sustained all throughout the day, so that's gonna be really good. Very early on in the 60-minute chart, 15-minute is going for a third candle, second if we're counting from pre-market high break. 5 minutes also going for a third the first time, but then it gets reset and super nice, and I'm guessing this is the top opportunity that I was referring to. In which case 15-minute is like one candle IC 3-bar play, so pretty nice. 1 minute, yeah, definitely too early, like the consolidation's nowhere near enough for that. 5-minute gets quite well sustained. First has like 2/3 the candle and then it gets maintained at half the initial 5-minute candle. Pretty okay, nothing outstanding by any means. Could have taken this little downward trendline break as well. I think that would have been a better entry, but pretty clean intraday price action. Like you can see how nicely it's moving. No erratic whipsaw, gappy, choppy price action here. So volume is nice, MTF is nice quite early on in many aspects. Got up with 9, 1 minute's clean. Just a very clean setup that I should risk more on. Should have risked more on. So that was the first one. Then we have Neo. So I think it's been getting hit with a wave of good news, but very nice stair-step price action. You can see how the likes are becoming shorter and shorter though, so that's something to take note of for sure. Right now we have JP Morgan Analyst upgraded neutral to overweight, price target $14 to $40, which is fucking huge. Whenever we have, I only have like one example in my mind, or one or two, but with this new I've noticed, plus that one example, that whenever we have like a huge fucking price target raise, so this is like almost double the price action, or double the price right now, then we get a really good reaction. Volume's crazy good, beating these guys here, getting close to this very accelerate, I don't fucking know, capitulatory volume, although price action was definitely not capitulatory. So very clean on that. 60 minutes a bit extended, but we are second CC still, so that's pretty nice. We had double hammers before that. Clear sky on the weekly, on the daily weeklies. Candles preempted by a 3-bar play. We caught up with 9, we got tighter. 15 minutes in upward trending channel, which is always good. It's close to the moving averages, but it shows that the bullish sentiment is still very strong in pre-market. I'd say a bit better for the bullish sentiment because we're uptrending, but a bit worse because we do already consume some of the gains that could be made intraday, if that sort of makes sense. 5 minutes, not the prettiest, but not bad. Dipping below 9, holding 20, then getting a bit tighter. Not a 3-bar play, but a bear sandwich setup. Not that it fucking matters. I wouldn't give it like an extra 0.5% even because of that. 1 minute on the other hand is quite nice. Very clean DTL. Fake break of this little initial support area, and then we flag very nice and tight for the break of the DTL. Very clean. I'm going in the wrong direction. Breakout day 2, day 1 was very low on volume, but day 2 is like super fucking huge. Not sure if there were any news here. It announced that we're nearly double production capacity for its all-electric F-150 Lightning pickup. So that's pretty damn good news. Along with the breakout, 60 hasn't had a clean solid pullback for quite a while now. We do we have touch 9. I'm seeing like doesn't quite reset us, so definitely wouldn't think of a big setup based off the 60, but the daily suggests otherwise, I think. 5 minutes, a reset, full candle, shooting star, inside candle. Not the worst. I'm not really liking the 1 minute. To be honest, I'm not quite sure this deserves a top 20 place. I just don't think it does, so I'm downgrading this to an in-betweener. So, alright, so then it's weird. We're above the meat of the move. We are ABCDing out. And we're getting super freaking great volume, which is sustained and even elevating all throughout the day. So that's an after the fact confirmation, of course, because our entry is quite early on at 9:45. But still, we have sustained volume. Quite well in the first 3 5-minute candles, so that's nice. Weeklies ABCDing, sorta breaking above this key level. Dailies not even above the meat of the move yet. So like the meat would be somewhere around here, just below 28.75, or just at 28.75, so we're below that. 60-minute is fucking awesome though. Peak, then oscillation right around, and not even around, but above it, so that's range. Retest, fake break of 20, reclaim, and then high volume push. Very clean price action intraday. This is a bit all like choppy looking, but not clean. But then we get a clean uptrend, clean downtrend, and then a nice retest. So easy entry, pre-market high, 9 EMA, stop loss here, entry here, very cleanly trending. And once I see that the volume gets picked up along the way, I think an end of day hold is very easy. And definitely could take partials at these daily levels. What I'm missing here is some sort of tightness. Let me just open this so I can do a bit better job at. So some sort of tightness. We've had a pre-acceleration blow off attempt, but couldn't really blow off. So hold, held, and then got tighter on the 9, but not really like that type of tighter that I would like to see generally. It's like very quick and not pattern like or something. Could draw a trend line around here, somewhere around here. That got broken. Now we're going for the second leg. But yeah, MVP of this is the volume, the 1 minute cleanness, the 60-minute chart, and yeah, APLS. So pretty bad news, but forgot to include it, I think. Some major safety concerns after reports of serious inflammation issues. Renal vasculitis associated with its drug, Syfovre, stocked plunged. So yeah, that's like basically a 10 out of 10 bad news for a drug company like this. Volume was crazy good on the drop, then even higher on the second day, so that is like a very freaking good signal that this move will probably, or is not will probably continue, but it has a very good chance of continuing. So betting on it is not necessarily that risky, as if it were like a third of the volume, which is still quite high, but it just indicates that the selling pressure is just diminishing. This increasing selling pressure on this bigger candle and then this bigger candle, which is basically the same size as yesterday's without the gap, it's just like crazy weak. So going for that, weekly has a bit of a window down until like 34.2, and then a bit of a window until 30.32. So these are very nice. After the second day, we get a bit of consolidation, but we basically hold in the bottom quartile of this candle, which is like 75. Yeah, basically the bottom quartile, which also shows that we couldn't really bounce. We get a 60-minute price action, which is just tighter. Would have left a bit more tightness around here, but probably would have been better for a breakdown. This way I get a really wide stop. But then we break down a bit of an aggressive dip back up. But then we sell back off, hold the breakdown level, and then roll over from there. Really not liking the 1 minute price action. It definitely is not clean, but the daily and the news and the LTFs are just like freaking taking the cake. Volume is even lower than yesterday, which shows that it's still freaking high, but I don't know if I would wanna hold for a swing. Definitely could work, but I think for a day trade it's more than enough. Holding end of day is definitely viable. This level is definitely viable as well. 5 minute had like a huge candle and then dropped to like third quarter and then held there and then was starting to wane off into this level, so could have exited somewhere around here. MSTR. So slowly increasing in volume, which is very nice. Increasing in price as well, breaking out of this weekly structure, quite extended now, getting a very early, not early, sorry, a very big earnings gap, I think, November 11th. Oh no, sorry, not an earnings. $2 billion Bitcoin purchase funded through equity sale. Not that good news, but definitely not bad. And then the second day responds with a bit more like floating strength, so it's just like a float, then a gap out and fail. After that we try to sell off, but we can't. We try to sell off, we just consolidate in a bit higher low manner, and then a tiny gap up, showing that we are not really looking to sell off here. We retest this candle's close, which was also the news day's candle's close, which is quite an important level. And then we start going, we break out of this structure very cleanly. I mean, the level is clean, not the manner in which we break out. So we break out quite shitty 1 minute price action, to be fair. Not quite sure I would want to risk based off of a single candle there, but because it's a retest of this high as well, I might just be willing to. Definitely not a full R risk, but not a bad opportunity. And how far am I holding? There's a very clear window until 370, so that gives me like incredible fucking risk to reward. With this entry I have a 17-point risk and I have an 85-point reward, so that's like 5 R's or something like that. So going backwards again, so this is day 2 of that. Yesterday was a bit increasing volume, but I don't know, I would have liked higher volume for the continuation of the day. Nevertheless, we're still quite good on that. 11:19, no news since then. 60 minutes very early on, 15 minutes very early on. Fake break of free market structure, full candle, then a hammer, then another doji-ish candle. I don't know, I probably would have liked a breakout by now for a very strong trend to occur. 1 minute is quite choppy and shitty, not quite liking this. Volume's also basically average, which ain't super bad, but at least I would like 150 to 100%. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's a recently generally hot volume stock, so I'm not really expecting 300% plus, but still this is just like too average. I don't think I would take this trade again, and I don't really think it deserves the top 20 spot. Tesla peeking out, selling off, getting rebought quite early, basically sell off, I don't know, just couldn't really hold. To be fair, it doesn't really seem like it's enough consolidation, even though we had like 1, 2, 3, 4 days of movement, 5 if you count the gap as like an extra, out of like wanting to be a bit more meticulous there. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days consolidation. So in length it's enough, in depth it's I think also quite freaking clean. We are setting up a pennant right below, not initial big high, but something similar to that, Volume's not quite great, to be fair. So that's weird, but it is Tesla. Weekly is a big breakout, so right now we might just be in one of Tesla's expansion periods, which is a bit of extra backwind, which is nice. So we have a pennant, breakout, and then a pennant breakout. So very nice fractals here. Actually, 1 minute's quite clean, to be fair, although no proof of trend yet. But for the breakout, I'm not really expecting a proof of trend anywhere. I cannot freaking speak, so I'm not expecting a proof of trend. By any means, this is more of a break trade than a small continuation, to be fair. It's just kind of like coupling the two. So, what am I missing here? Volume, not really good. Playing the second leg, which is nice still. We are quite near levels here, but I think still playable for sure. We are being overshadowed by last week's weekly candle, so we're not out of the trenches yet. But this is something that could possibly be swung. The reason I probably wouldn't swing it is an after the fact confirmation, which is the lack of volume on the daily. That being said, there's a very nice volume kick intraday, which I'm liking, so maybe monitoring Tesla runs here without the volume, probably not taking it with the volume, maybe like a smaller entry. But I'm noticing that a lot of these setups just turn out well, but aren't actually like super down the line of what I consider A+ setups or AA+ setups. If it goes, so we do have pretty damn good news. 44% year-over-year revenue is pretty neat. Semiconductor revenue can't quite compare to anything, unfortunately. So projected revenue is up 22% year-over-year. So pretty good, damn good news yesterday. And right now gapping up further. Very good volume yesterday, I think like 4x, 4 or 5x, something like that. Today, a bit lower than that, but still quite high, so that's neat. We're basically a clear sky, haven't really pulled back, we're surfing along 9, but we do have 2 small candles and we are very early on in the 60, so because of that it is definitely takeable. 50-minute also very early on, 5-minute is going for an ORB, pretty much holding this right here but slowly waning off in the volume department, which means I'm probably not going to hold it until end of the day. And after the fact confirmation, of course, as well. 1 minute is not an A+ clean price action, but it definitely deserves an A. Respecting that very well. Clean move, cleanish move. Unfortunately, what I'm not really liking is the lack of volume decline with price decline. So a bit iffy there, but everything else is just so nice that I think it's definitely deserving of a trade. I'm thinking like something along the lines of 1R is pretty damn good. 1, maybe 2 Rs, because volume was declining, not as fast as I would have liked, but 1 red candle was basically just a top candle, and the next one immediately had lower volume, so yeah, I don't know. Not paying that much significance to, or that much attention to it not declining that big. CoreWeave hot IPO, 400% year-over-year revenue. Nvidia had taken an interest in it. I think it had a big stake in it. One of them's highest now. We're rising quite fast. We consider this candle 1, candle 2. Not even a half IC candle, a bit outside of that, but candle 3 for a doji, and right now we're breaking that. I don't know, it worked out pretty well, but I'm not quite sure I would like to take it again. And today's nicely breaking above BTC, but we do have this guy to take care of still, which think we're oscillating around that, yes. So I don't know, a bit too iffy yet again, not quite deserving of a top 20 trade. It just turned out well, but yeah, I think Moral of this trade is just pay attention to hot IPOs because they have freaking amazing opportunities. Sometimes this was also an AI stock, so pretty fucking hot. Volume was way above averages for considering these guys, and now popping and above these guys as well, although not like outstanding difference. Maintained pretty well throughout the day, so could even be an end of day hold. Then we have CoreWeave here for a daily breakout. Not a clean ass breakout level. I'm more thinking the breakout of the bodies is clean, which we've kept above after candle 1. Candle 2 is what we're on. I wouldn't really consider this one. No real build up. I'm very missing a build up. No clean legs either. We're basically just a slowly accelerating chart, but we're nowhere near the capitulation phase yet. Could be setting up for it now with today's candle. Anyways, a pretty darn good volume right off the bat. 60-minute is still very early on at here, which is where my entry was. We're basically above the meat of the breakout area. We only have a singular wick level left. My problem is proof of trend a bit, but nice volume decline on the pullback. We held 9 very, very well, and breaking out, we would also confirm a breakout. So it's a mixture of a breakout and a small continuation, which means that proof of trend ain't the most important thing there. But and another nuance that I didn't like that I said is that every time we tried to sell off, we just couldn't. We held up quite well, but we also didn't really make any headway the last time, so this is a bit concerning, because if we don't make it today, then it's just gonna be shit. Anyways, volume maintained pretty well and then drops off after 11. Could just be taking partials a bit more heavily here. Could even be holding for end of day. Not quite sure if that works out. Let's just check what is this CoreWeave. So after the break, oh yeah, end of day finish at 150.79, so that's clean. But I probably would have taken a bit of a partial off there. So big berry high. Now it's a strict push to easy PJ. So quite a lot of news hitting the company. Launched enhanced biometric passenger processing June 23, which was yesterday, with UIA tie-ups, expanded airport security tech, and the appointment of Sean Ricker as interim CFO. Trading volume remains high. So not really a hot stock, hasn't really proven itself to be a big mover, although this is a super fucking big incline from 2.5 to 4. 1.5 book incline on a 2.5 box stock, but it just pales in comparison to this whole move. But it just goes to show that it can move quite intensely. So big breakout area is around here, and we're right now breaking out of that and this on the daily chart. So that is clean. I'm very close to the break line. We're breaking out, retesting Serta. My entry is definitely early, so this would have been nicer. Price action is seemingly clean. Volumes very clean as well, but since it's not a rapidly increasing volume stock, I'm not looking for that big of an increase anyway. We have like 270, which is perfect at 1247, so probably head over 300%. Intraday volume is waning off, which is weird. I probably would not hold it for long. I'm guessing a 5-minute 90MA trail would have done the job perfectly. Why? Because we bounced very nicely from there. Could also have maybe just trail 20, but we haven't really responded to it intraday. So maybe with just this big of a daily breakout, I would have been a bit more naive / optimistic about the outcome of the day and would have just held until end of day possibly, and if it ends very strongly, then for a swing. So 624 BBAI. So there, then we gap up, boom, previous day low goes here, then goes here, then goes here, here, and we get stopped out at 750. So yeah, pretty good previous bar low trail, but I'm not sure 5450 if that gets violated. No, it doesn't get violated. So actually would have survived that. So got pretty nice and tight there. 60-minute does look a bit extended, but with this big breakout I'm quite fine with that. 5 minutes going for an ORB, 15 minutes quite early as well. Core weave. So a rollover setup, basically 2 layers to it. So first one is 148.74, then 143.59. I like how tight we got, clean down trend line, inside candle before the breakdown. No big volume increase here, but definitely not bad. So we're second CC in on the 60-minute for the first breakdown down level, and we have a clean window down until the second layer. So we break down 1, 2, 3, and I'm playing quite a close entry on the first one. I definitely would have skipped that, but the second one is a bit better. 1, 2, 3 candles, and then basically 6 candles, 6, 7 candles consolidation. So that is clean. In terms of percentages, 154, 146, sorry, 153, 146, so that's $7. And then we get from 146 up until 148, so $2. 30% ish, give or take, plus minus 5 to 10%. So also good with a breakdown. We consolidate for a whole fucking lot of the time. Yeah, first entry definitely shit. Price action intraday isn't so clean. On the 1 minute, more so would be looking at the 5 minute, which is not bad, not great. Would have loved a bit more tightness here. On the breakdown, we do get some volume bumps. On the consolidation, we get a very big volume decline. So that's all super clean. So dailies, clean level, tightness, clean downtrend line, nice volume nice catalyst, technical catalyst. After a big move, we're going for rollover, easy swing, possibly back to, I think, like the 120s. After that, I probably wouldn't want to be exposed in a short. So we come down here, pretty value setting volume, which makes this a very long rest period make more sense. So that's nice. I'm thinking a previous buyer high trail with a 75% to all out around here is a good one. Maybe more than 75%. I definitely don't want to be holding more after a 50 MA and the breakout level. Let's just see how it turned out. So 120, didn't quite get there. So 125 was the level. Didn't quite get there, but close there. Probably would have taken it all out right there and then. Would not have waited for, not have left it in for an overnight position for like 50-60 cents. Iarian, so I'm absolutely loving 10 out of 10 this lower high break after getting caught and breaking out of this whole weekly madness. Volumes again not rapidly increasing but slowly over time, a bit of volume decline on the pullback. Surfing 9 trying to get tighter here but not really doing so great at a job. We have a bit of a fake break of the levels yesterday, and today we have a tiny gap up, not even that tiny, but I'm loving that. 60-minute gets really tight, holding 9 and 20, and then we just go for the break. Very huge volume, then a declining volume regression here, and then inclining again on the break, holding 9, holding the previous high of the, if we count it for bodies and not wicks, and then basically I think the 5 minutes declining very fast. I would have said that I can hold it till end of day, but 5 minutes declining very fast. So that is a good signal that we might just be running out of steam quite early. think a trailing stop is very nice here. So we get extended, we stall, we have 18.5, so it's a $3 move on a $1 ATR, which is even more than most of these candles. Even visually I can tell that these are like $2 at best, yes. So definitely taking a big partial here, if not all out. But I think a structure-based stop is good as well, which is what I used here. BMNR, so pretty big news here. Popping up the stock, then it just gets like a huge decline from 160 all-time high down to 30. So that's like a big S. Bit more than 5x drop, or fifth, drops to less than a fifth of that. But right now breaking out of this downtrend line, slowly increasing volume, we gap up in a doji, increasing volume there again, we gap up again, and we are getting quite close to the initial volume pop. So that's very nice, I maintain volume intraday. We're getting an ABCD with this gap out doji, which is super nice. We break out ABCD just fucking clean, man, and then an increasing volume into this, so that's also very clean. We have a high volume node there, which is why I took, I think, all out. But then we have a very clean pennant. Unfortunately, didn't get quite that tight as I wanted it to, but holding 20, holding view up, and now breaking out, increasing volume after the break as well. Just super freaking clean, and this is the type of stock that I'm thinking once it gets going, it can go. Like, the daily candle is not even big at 52.40 yet, but nevertheless, I just don't know if I can count with anything here in terms of how much the daily will do. That being said, 1 minute, very freaking clean. 5 minute, very freaking clean. Easy stop, easy entries on both. Holding, as you can see, the 5 minute gets a bit stalled here, like breaks. Previous high of day, barely does anything, breaks, pulls back, breaks, pulls back. So somewhere around here is a great exit. I'm not quite sure if it went any further. So 51.70 and 54 was high of day. So yeah, basically closing around there. Also slowly declining volume here, although something super concerning. MSTR, big rollover level. Unfortunately, a bit extended into it, but I'm liking the health I see before the breakdown. I'm not really liking that we opened right over here. A bit of a gap down would have just given me that extra notch of confirmation. Volume is not super high, but not bad. So we're breaking down. We have, I think, yeah, this one a little extra touch level right from the daily that we're lining up to. Or intraday price section is not super clean, to be fair, but 60 minutes very early. 5 minute is acceptable. Basically a 1 candle run, 2 candle run, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 candles consolidation, 2 candles, 2 IC candles within that 2 candle run. So that's nice as well. 15 minute, unfortunately I can't see, but basically we have 1 and the second here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So an IC, so a 3-bar play in this 15 minute as well. I think definitely a taker here. Rollovers don't really need that much RVOL either, or anyway. Nice volume decline on here, and then a kick in as we're like downtrending. So easily I think an end of day hold, or could just take advantage of this guy, which we did fully run. So that's nice too. Open, so Eric Jackson meme stock. Pretty high volume initially, blow off from 5 down to 2. So so about down to a quarter. They're very wide setup that gets broken. Not a huge increase in volume, but it does have a bit of an increase. Choppy daily. quite well. But we're setting up for an ABCD. We have to break this guy, or could even play inside of it. 60 minutes quite nice for it with the ABCD fake break, holding the 9 and the 20. And we also have Fed Powell with his Jackson Hole speech, giving an extra backwin for the stock. So break above the meat of the consolidation here after a fake break. This is definitely an early entry, I think. And I'm not really liking the 1 minute extension. So we break out 5 minute 1cc, 15 minute first candle. So this is the second, and here we just have a clean pullback, a very nice VPA quite early on, back into 9, back into a level that I marked from, I don't even know where, from this lower high, so that's clean as well. Confirmation candle is not nice, price action is, definitely could take this trade, and I think the upper trend line just proves itself to be a good trail here. After that, we have a very nice pennant setup forming here, very nicely declining volume on that, and it's very nicely inclining on the up move. After we break, we get slightly inclining volume. Probably not gonna hold till end of day because it doesn't really even get back to half of what it was on the initial leg. But I could trail it nicely along the 20 as it held well, so that probably would have stopped me out somewhere around here, or I could have targeted 5, which was the blow off tops high, which I think is an even better one. So very nice. What I'm missing here is some sort of daily tightness, but 60 kind of provided that, and the Jackson Hole backwind was super freaking great. 5 minute was early, 60 minute was early, 15 minute was early, 1 minute was clean intraday. So yeah, Rigetti. So huge fucking move on the quantums. Then getting back to a bit above fourth of what it was. Then just consolidating here, getting tighter, barely breaking out. Not really making any headway, getting tighter again still. Honing in on the 9 EMA, holding that quite well and getting super fucking tight here right now, breaking out. Not a huge volume on this breakout, which is weird to me, but we're nicely breaking out of this. We're breaking out of all-time highs, but I'm not even sure if that's all-time highs. I'm going to have to check that, but yeah, it is. So that's nice. So this is day 2 basically. Sorry, week 2, and this is basically day 3 because this is day 1. I see day 2 breaking all-time highs. So this is day 3 of the pattern breakout, day 2 or even day 1 of the all-time high break, which is nice. 60 minutes trending nicely quite early on, second CCE. 15 minute playing right after a decline candle, so could or can count on surviving a bit more chop around here. But so for that I usually like to have some sort of like high of day retest or something. This time we don't really have anything, but what gives me a bit of hope is that the decline is very slow, very measured, very tiny candles. The intraday price action is super freaking clean. Once we break, we're not really getting a volume bump. Volume is high all throughout the day, which is nice. Slowly declining on this price action decline, but we do have some sort of like bumps in that as well. 5 minutes just like A plus fucking clean. But yeah, probably would have gotten a better entry, more confirmation here, but I could imagine this because of the slow downtrend to have like instant resolution, or not even instant, but like I could imagine it not giving me another entry. So MVP is the daily weekly setup, and the rest is just okay. Like the 60 minute, 15 minute is acceptable, 5 minute and 1 minute are just freaking clean again. I think could risk 2 hours here, maybe 1 hour, and then wait for a bit better confirmation for maybe another hour, which would have come somewhere around here for me of the 5 minute. But this is like A plus cleanness. how long do I hold? So volume did drop quite a lot, so thinking a structure break or a moving average trail. We held 9 quite well, so I think 9 is clean. So basically not really closing below 9 any time here. Could maybe have stopped myself out some rounds here, probably this pulled it up a bit further, not quite sure about that, but I think a lot would have been here at best case scenario. So we have BKKT here, complete sale of loyalty business, very clean volume, very nicely sustained, breaking out of a very large weekly structure, unfortunately not getting tied, but volume was picking things up for it. We have a 3-bar play-ish thing, not really liking how it's a half icy kind of thing, but now we're gapping out again. We have a few levels here that we have to get through. 60 minutes and a setup, very nicely surfing 9. I love this BDC level, very clean. We're breaking out above that. 5 minutes, a bit extended looking. 15 minute, not very much, but if you look at the 1 minute, it's definitely not extended. We have like chop chop chop, 3 very clean candles, and then some consolidation, tightening, fake break, and then continuation. So that is basically a plus. VPA is nice there as well. And after that, we just trend very cleanly. 5 minute holds up very well, starts waning off, but very slowly. So I think a trail here is probably best as well. Okay, but what do I trail? 9 held quite well here, but then broke quite soon. And we don't really have that much evidence that the 9 holds. Structure break, I think, is what I'd go with based on this. So that would have given me probably around here. But yeah, not sure what else would tell me to use any other stop here. I think anything other would be forced, so this would just be a set stop out. Then I have Lace for the last one. Listen is a partner to develop medium-US post-quantum secure solutions for US government and defense agencies. So after this top at 11, we decline all the way down to 3, so a bit more than a quarter, or maybe, yeah, no, not even, because we declined to like 2.5, so less than a quarter even. Not really liking this inward curving thing, kind of double bottoming, so that's not bad, breaking above the most significant lower high that kept us in a range. Since we've tested it recently, which is another bonus, not really getting tighter here, the volume is getting like super freaking good. We are getting news on the breakout day, which is also super freaking good, and we're basically above the meat of the range, but we still have like this 525 area to deal with. But we do have a nice window until then, so I think it's definitely takeable. 15 minute is basically not extended. Yeah, this is something that I would just pass off as okay and wouldn't really mind. 5 minutes very clean, holding 9. 1 minute's also like clean as fuck, downtrend line, getting the same tightness as we got on the Neo trade. And then just an after effect, increasing volume confirmation there. Very nice, could easily hold until end of day because of the increasing volume, then declining on declining volume. Not the best there. Could even have just placed it for something like this, but I think a breakout of this magnitude with news with this big of a volume just deserves an end of day chance with maybe some smaller partials intraday, and we did close at 6